if the Assyrian Greeks would have been victorious, there would be no Judaism, and there wouldn't be any Christianity and no Islam. We begin Hanukkah with the first night by kindling the menorah. The menorah is a candelabra that has 9 candles. And the first night, we first light the candle, which is known as the shamish. And then we light the first candle on the right. And every night after that, we add another candle to the left of the first one until we light all 8 days of Hanukkah. So we begin observing Hanukkah by waiting till everyone gets home. Everyone is back from work, the children are home. We gather all family members together and we tell over in brief the story of the miracles that happened in Hanukkah. And then we sing the prayers together. There are 3 blessings that you recite the first night. The first blessing is thanking God. Lahadlik ner Chanukah. Thanking God for the opportunity that we can light Hanukkah yet once again. And the second blessing is Sha'asa nisim lavoteinu bayamim haim bizman hazeh. Thanking God for the miracles that God has done many years ago in this time. And then finally, the third blessing is one of the most beautiful blessings that we recite at every special occasion, every special holiday. Shechiyanu v'kiyamanu v'giyanu lazman hazeh. Thanking God for keeping us alive, sustaining us, so that we are here to once again fulfill this great mitzvah. But that blessing, Shechiyanu, we only recite the first evening. The rest of the evenings, we just recite 2 blessings. We look and we gaze on the flames of the menorah. And we see a story, a history, spanning 2,000 years, like a long chain with many rings in the chain, and you are one of them. Now, you can light your menorah either on your windowsill, where it's safe to put, or you can light it inside the house. Some even light it next to their mezuzah, opposite the mezuzah, so that one side you have one mitzvah, the mezuzah, the other side you have the menorah. But when you sit around the menorah, gaze on the flame and let the flame talk to you, because each one of us has a soul, and our soul is compared to a flame. It flickers. And if you notice, the body of a flame always points upwards. It's always pointing towards God. And it's also always alive. It's multicolored and brings warmth and brings light. It reminds us of the power of our soul. Our soul is alive. Our soul keeps us facing God and appreciating the kindness that God has done to us with the miracles of Hanukkah, and continues to do miracles for us. So it is your time of year to get connected. This is a commandment that doesn't require a lot of knowledge, doesn't require a lot of research or a lot of action. It just requires getting a menorah. Over history, there's been so many different types of menorahs. Ideally, it is a menorah that's designed for Hanukkah, otherwise known as a Chanukah, where you have 8 candles lined up and one on top. But if you don't, you can use any type of candles, any type of a candelabra, as long as you have 8. There are some that used to use bottle caps. Some used to take potatoes and line up 8 potatoes and gore out a hole and pour oil in with a wick or put a candle in. You could become as innovative as you want. The bottom line is, let's light up the world. That is the main observance of Hanukkah. It's also, we observe Hanukkah by eating foods, treats, especially that are cooked with oil. It reminds us of the incredible miracle that happened with oil. We also play dreidel, which is a top that we spin. And we play, which has great representation, that during the time when the Romans forbid the Jewish people to study the Torah, so they would send scouts around to make sure to enforce it. But the children were always learning Torah. But as soon as they saw the Romans arriving, they would close the Torah books and take out a top and spin it as if they're playing a game. So when the scouts came and they didn't see them learning but playing, they allowed them to stay alive. So that's why we play dreidel and we spin the top in Hanukkah to remind us of those days. Well, during the days of Hanukkah, the Jewish people in Jerusalem were going through a two-front war. One was a spiritual war, where the Greek Assyrians were pushing their philosophies and they were trying to assimilate the Jewish people and enforcing different restrictions, not allowing the Jewish people to fulfill the Torah as they were taught. They prohibited any circumcision. They prohibited observing the Shabbat. They prohibited keeping the Jewish calendar. And they were trying to break down the Jewish religion so that they should all assimilate to the Greek methodology and to the Greek beliefs. And this was a very, very difficult spiritual war. At the same time, there was the physical war. There was the battle that they tried to conquer Jerusalem and eradicate all Jews. And there was a small group, Matisyahu, Kohen Gadol, and Judah Maccabee, gathered together a small group of warriors. And miraculously, there were so few, they were able to defeat the many. And that is the twofold way of celebrating Hanukkah. We celebrate the spiritual part of Hanukkah, which is kindling the candles and reminiscing the miracle that when they finally retook the temple and they found only one jug of oil that had the seal that was kosher to use to kindle the menorah. Even though it was just one jug of oil, that was enough to last one day. But they did not use the other oil that was there that was defiled because that was against the law. And they wanted to keep the laws the way God gave it to them. Because of their dedication, their commitment, God made a miracle that the oil that was supposed to last one day lasted 8 days. And that's how we have 8 days of Hanukkah. In addition to kindling the menorah, eating the Hanukkah food, spinning the dreidel, we also sing praises to God, known as the Hallel, great praises that King David wrote, to thank God for these amazing, beautiful times, and being grateful for victories, because the victories then has an effect on us. If anyone were to ponder, if the Assyrian Greeks would have been victorious and would have eradicated Judaism and killed all out in Jerusalem, there would be no Judaism and there wouldn't be any Christianity and no Islam. So Hanukkah is not just a Jewish celebration, it's a victory of light over dark. And that is how we observe and celebrate Hanukkah. God bless you. God loves you.